So the area that I chose for this project is Darling Harbour in Sydney, and focusing on the Copper Bay precinct, and specifically beneath the freeway overpasses of the Western Distributor, which connect the western suburbs with the city. So there's kind of views of what's there now. Down the bottom is this northern freeway, which just shows the construction and scale of the superstructure passing over this area. Above is the Copper Bay Wharf and foreshore, which shows sort of the amount of foot traffic this area can attract. And above shows the uses of the area, with the foreshore, the freeways, area located just behind just development in front of the playground, Tunnelong Park and down to Haymarket. Current uses, this area was redeveloped for commercial and tourism purposes, and has been marketed as amongst one of the most recognisable places in Sydney. So the Urban Art Collective in New Zone, situated in the Copper Bay area, explores the role of architecture in utilising the potential of residual spaces created by these superstructures in the expanding urban landscape, as well as juxtaposing the divergent social elements to form a cohesive symbolic whole. It aims to suggest interplay possible between the mainstream commercialisation and tourism of the site and the area, and the marginalised world of disadvantaged youth street culture, which has traditionally been seen as a social anathema. However, by placing the project in such a prominent area, it is envisioned that it will have an educative effect on the public, resulting in a rehabilitation of its image, as well as for the youth involved. So coming to the ground plan, the foyer of the north building has been placed up against the existing water feature, which is in reference to the old shoreline, which extended back beyond Tunnelong Park. And crossings have been added, which coincide with aspects of the design, with two coinciding with foyer entries, one on the exterior of the southern skate park area and another just behind the skate park, allowing for pedestrian traffic to travel around and ease of navigation through the site. Also on the ground plane, we have a sunken amphitheatre, which is facing north out towards the bay and out towards the city beyond. All the cores for the project, two in the northern building and three at the southern end of the site, have been placed wrapping around the existing columns of the freeways to make use of this existing superstructure rather than adding in extra infrastructure. The cores in the northern building from the foyer are all glazed and penetrate the exterior walls, giving a visual connection of the vertical circulation through the building. And the foyer has been designed with a cross-axis, 4 entries, creating a cross-axis, which gives a visual connection to the main entry core of the southern building of the project. So here we just have an image in the sunken amphitheatre facing the city. Opportunities for artistic expression. The main programs that this client offers relate to dance, music, art, and rehabilitation sort of teaching classes. The building itself on the ground plane has also been designed materiality-wise to allow for a blank canvas for this artistic expression, as well as using the superstructure and also the ground plane. Further back into the skate park, with a small sort of oasis retreat, and again using materiality and paints and artistic vision to clearly define what the area of the skate park is and further back again, this is the main entry for the client into the building on the southern side of the site. This foyer has been integrated into the programmatics of the skate park. Influences from this came from Service Carmel's counselling centre in Spain. His idea of incorporating building entries and building functions into programs and recreations that are provided, it gives a stronger sort of metaphoric, symbolic connection between the client, the users, and the facilities that they offer, rather than separating them. So we come up to the first floor in the northern building. This has been separated into two isolated pods that are accessed from either core via ramps and gantries. The left pod on the eastern side, the western side of the site comprises of 3 dance studios and associated services. The pod on the east comprises of a music space, indoor art, and also services. The design of these pods is essentially to be a floating platform with a very light connection to the actual superstructure itself. With the freeways themselves acting as a roof, this led to the simplistic form that you see, with the removal of the need for protrusions for things such as awnings to control the sun. The pods are designed in such a way with the setbacks that the bridges sort of deal with the summer sun and let the winter sun in. Views are controlled. Privacy is achieved by closing up these external shutters, but protrusions have been strategically placed at sort of visual view heights to still allow views out. This connection and disconnection can be achieved by sliding away the shutters as well as the external glazed walls. There's different permutations that are able to be achieved. This allows sort of better interaction between the users and the building, rather than having sort of a single facade system. This also allows the users inside to connect with the public below. There's the theme that I wanted to achieve was not to be disconnected from the public, as the aim of sort of this project is to rehabilitate and get these youth sort of used to and back into society. Inspiration from this came from a house and studio project in Tokyo by Tsukuba, in which he uses sliding panels to control the elements and the views on the exterior of the building. Materiality-wise, there's a simple material palette that was chosen. The bridges themselves penetrate the floor plate, softening the entryway into the actual pod, with frosted glass used on either side of the dance studios. This again sort of allows a glimpse of the kinds of activities that will be happening within sort of each pod. The use of charred timber for the exterior. The use of charred timber for the exterior not only improves sort of the materials qualities for the coastal conditions that they will be subject to, but also provides another level of metaphoric emphasis on sort of the gritty and harshness of the issues surrounding the disadvantaged youth and their culture. Just some details on how it's constructed, with the light connection to the bridge, a slab to create a dead weight to help with vibrations and the inertia created by the bridges above, and just ways of sprung floor to also deal with issues of inertia and sort of keeping the one level from internal and external with the shutters being slid away to blur that line between internal and external spaces. So we have a view in one of the dance pods looking south, fully opened up with sort of the semi-internal external cores wrapped around the columns and the gantryways, associated gantryways, looking down to the social spaces below. Coming up to the second floor plan, if we stay on the northern building, from the southern core we come up to our last level, which gives access to a rooftop outdoor space. This space is intended to bring users right up to the level of the bridge to get a larger amount of interaction between people and superstructure. If we come to the southern building, this is the main level for the client and all their programmatic requirements. In the northern pod, we have some office spaces, informal meeting spaces. In the southern pod, the reception services, and also a teaching wing. All these walls in the teaching wing are non-fixed. They can be stacked up against and made into any permutation to suit any number of activities and users. So this is the outdoor roof space on the northern building, bringing people right up close and allowing artistic expression again onto the superstructure itself, and providing the views down the bay and to the city beyond. So view just behind the skate park oasis, looking at the southern building. Again, using the bridges as sun controls allows for the simple floating platform design with the simplistic boxes on top, and with again the light sort of webbing connections between the buildings with the light bridges. And also the fire escape exits, which have been made heavy and integrated into the skate park with just the light connection of the stairway touching the pod. If we come up to the final level now, this is a smaller pod which deals with temporary accommodation for both the youth who do not have a place to stay, as well as for the travelling artists that are temporarily employed by the client to teach and help out with the programs that are offered. So if we look at what the bridge is doing in section, this is cut just to the right of the IMAX, all at different heights with this off-ramp cutting through the site. Coming through, we can see again, sort of all the pods are separated with just light connections, as there was an emphasis on lightness throughout the design of this project, and just sort of the thresholds that this creates underneath. Again, and then we see the permutations through the site, digging down through the amphitheatre, filling in for skate park, and again, sort of thresholds and light connections. Yes, just sort of the scale of the foyer space, it's rather low, it's 4 meters, 3.5 meters high, sorry, and the services running up the existing columns. And then just finally cut through the site looking at the entire building.
Okay, great, thank you.